modernization. The TAZARA Railway is a signature project of China-Africa cooperation, and China is ready to work with Zambia and Tanzania to let this railway carrying hope brim with new vigor in the new era and provide more momentum for the development of Tanzania, Zambia, and Africa as a whole. The Chinese government will work with the Tanzanian and Zambian government to provide the necessary support and safeguard for the revitalization of the railway. We hope that the companies and personnel from all three sides who participate in the revitalization project will stay committed to high standards and high quality as they deliver on the implementation work and turn this project into a high quality, efficient, safe, and reliable one, and set a benchmark for high standard cooperation within the Belt and Road Initiative. China is also ready to assist Zambia and Tanzania in building the TAZARA Prosperity Belt, in improving and upgrading the industries and industrial parks along the railway, in planning out the special economic zones and free trade zones, and jointly building new hubs for economic growth. Meanwhile, we hope to carry out more small and beautiful projects in medicine, health, poverty alleviation, and those that benefit agriculture and farmers, so as to improve people's well-being. China stands ready to work with Zambia and Tanzania to take the revitalization of the railway as an opportunity to strengthen connectivity. On the one hand, we should strengthen infrastructure connectivity, consolidating railway, roads, ports, and other infrastructure to build multimodal transport corridor and a modern logistics system. On the other hand, we should strengthen institutional connectivity concerning customs, commodity inspection, and taxes to promote greater facilitation of trade and investment, and build greater synergy between the markets and industries of our three countries and between China and Africa, so as to forge greater common strength for development. Looking into the future, China-Africa cooperation enjoys vast prospects. China is ready to work with Zambia, Tanzania, and other fellow developing African countries to carry forward the TAZARA spirit of the FOCAC Beijing Summit, to promote further development of the all-weather China-Africa community with a shared future for the new era, and jointly create a brighter tomorrow. Thank you.
Your Excellency, thank you very much for those remarks and for your commitment to the friendship with Zambia and also with Tanzania. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, again, His Excellency Ambassador Dr. Emmanuel John Nchimbi, Vice President of the United Republic of Tanzania, to give his remarks. Your Excellency, please.
His Excellency Hakainde Hichilema, President of the Republic of Zambia, His Excellency Lee Kwang, Member of Standing Committee of the 20th CPC Central Committee Political Bureau and Premier of State Council of the People's Republic of China, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my profound honor to represent Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, who conveys warm greetings to Your Excellency President Hichilema, to the people of Zambia and to the people of China. She wished to attend personally, but due to an unavoidable national commitment, she couldn't make it. Today we gather not just to break the ground, we gather to renew the dream of nearly 60 years old. A dream built with courage, solidarity, sacrifice, and unshakable belief in the shared African and global future. The story of TAZARA did not begin in 1970 when construction started. It began much earlier. In 1952, the idea of North-South Railway was proposed, but it remained only talk. In 1964, barely 1 month after Zambia independence, President Kaunda committed to build a line jointly with Tanzania. Both young nations approached several government and institutions for support. The response was blunt. The railway is unnecessary. The railway is uneconomic. We cannot help you. And so Tanzania and Zambia turned to a country that was itself poor and still rebuilding. They turned to China. They come to a historic declaration. Then comes the historic declaration of Chairman Mao Zedong. If need be, we shall delay building our own railway in China in order to build TAZARA. China sent thousands of engineers and workers, many of whom made ultimate sacrifice. Thus was born the Great Uhuru Railway, a railway of liberation, dignity, hope, and enduring friendship. Ladies and gentlemen, we stand here to launch the important chapter of TAZARA history. It is full of revitalization. This phase is anchored on the Memorandum of Understanding signed in Beijing in September 2024, witnessed by Excellencies President Hichilema, President Xi Jinping, and President Samia Suluhu Hassan, and the bold trilateral decision on 29 September 2025, adopting a public-private partnership model leading to a concession agreement with CCECC. This is indeed not just an infrastructure upgrade, it is a renewal of a sacred commitment. A revitalized TAZARA will strengthen the central and southern corridors, transform trades across Tanzania, Zambia, DRC Congo, Malawi, and SADC, boost imports, export, and transit traffic, support agriculture, mining, industry, and tourism, and create thousands of jobs in our region. Ladies and gentlemen, as TAZARA expands, Tanzania is equally modernizing its port system. In her recent inaugural address on 13th Parliament, President Samia reaffirmed Tanzania's commitment to expand the port of Dar es Salaam with new berths, improve efficiency, and ensure smooth connection with SGR and TAZARA. Similarly, Tanzania will continue developing the ports of Tanga, Mtwara, and Bagamoyo, ensuring world-class logistics for Zambia, SADC, and Africa at large. This revitalization also comes at a moment when China is emerging as a major driver of global growth under its 15th five-year plan. This positions China as a critical development partner. Just as TAZARA was China's first major inroad into African interior, today we have a new opportunity to link the Belt of Road Initiative with SADC development corridors, especially through Benguela, TAZARA, coast-to-coast route, and Lobito on the Atlantic to Dar es Salaam and Bagamoyo, the Indian Ocean. This will unlock new manufacturing, EV battery and mineral processing industries, green transition manufacturing using African-rich minerals, and a deeper integration across SADC and AFC FTA. Ladies and gentlemen, There is a Swahili proverb, ukitaka kwenda haraka, nenda peke yako, lakini ukitaka kwenda mbali, nenda na wenzako. Meaning, if you want to go fast, go alone. And if you want to go far, go together. Today, Tanzania chooses to go far with Zambia and China. Maybe President Ichilema will understand more if I say, tiende pamozi ni mtima umo. Ichelima tiye, Samia tiye, tiende pamozi ni mtima umo. Thank you so much. Together we build the TAZARA economic zone, strengthen supply chains, and open new horizons of prosperity for our people. The world doubted us in the 1960s. The world may doubt us again today. But history teaches us a powerful truth. When Tanzania, Zambia, and China stand together, no challenge is too great, no mountain is too high, and no dream is too bold. If our founding father with little built the great Uhuru Railway, surely we, with all we have today, we will revitalize it and make it a model of 21st century cooperation. Let this ceremony mark a renewal of our friendship, a reaffirmation of our unity, a rebirth of TAZARA miracle, and a promise of better, more connected, and more prosperous Africa. Tanzania is ready. Zambia is ready. China is ready. Africa is ready. Thank you very much.
Another round of applause to His Excellency, please. Your Excellency, thank you very much for those remarks. Indeed, together we go far. Thank you for your commitment to our enduring friendship and also to the rail line that links our people, our two people, and to the Africa continental free trade area. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my privilege and honor to call upon the Minister of Transport and Logistics, Honorable Frank Tayali, MP, to assist us with raising our head of state. Mr. Tayali, please. I think we can do better. He's a very proud man today.
Thank you very much, Director of Programs. Your Excellency, Mr. President Hakainde Hichilema, and our distinguished guests, Premier from China and the Vice President from Tanzania. Indeed, today is a momentous occasion, witnessing this launch of the rebirth of TAZARA. Mr. President, today reminds me of the many occasions when in Cabinet you would direct me, Minister, please close the TAZARA deal. Work with your counterpart in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. We want this deal like yesterday. We worked hard, Mr. President. I must thank those that were in the negotiating team. What we have come up with is a win-win situation where all parties are going to win. Zambia and Tanzania stand to benefit immensely in terms of our economic growth agenda. Mr. President, a lot has been said. I do not wish to speak more than I have. It just gives me this very, very rare high honor and privilege that I call upon you, sir, Mr. President, to deliver your keynote speech. A big hand, ladies and gentlemen.
You may take your seats, please. Thank you very much. Let me recognize Premier Lee, our dignified guest, and his delegation, very powerful delegation. Let me recognize our brother there, Vice President, the Sister Republic of Tanzania, United Republic of Tanzania, and your delegation. Let me recognize all of our ministers, senior officials from our three countries, but I also see members of the diplomatic corps from the SADC region. I see the ambassador from Maputo there. Bom dia. Bom dia. Muito obrigado. This is the true meaning of what we are doing here today, to bring not just China, Tanzania, Zambia together, but also our region. And through our region, the continent of Africa, and back to our partnership with China, global community. This is indeed a great day. Colleagues, let me just thank the two speakers, Premier Lee and Vice President of Tanzania. But I'm also delighted for the things they've said. I'm delighted to see Mr. Mapoma here, our great citizen, Premier Lee, you may take your seat. Premier Lee and Vice President from Tanzania, our brother, Mr. James Mapoma, who was one of the key figures in our country since independence. He was running our state conglomerate, if I may say that, called ZIMCO, Zambia Industrial Corporation. He ran it for many years and ran it successfully, and TAZARA was one of his portfolios. So once more, we congratulate him for being present. Thank you. We're grateful to God for keeping him alive, because of his generation is one of the few that are left with us. Let me return to the event. We saw the video here. My two colleagues spoke, stitching the story, the great story of vision. Chairman Mao, President Nyerere, President Kaunda, the great story of partnership. At the time, as you have heard, Zambia, Tanzania were newly independent states from colonial situations. China itself was just evolving from the era where it came from before Chairman Mao led the revolution there. And these three fragile countries, their leaders leading us then, leading us the people, dreamt of this partnership, paved the way, took risks which many believed were too high to take because it wasn't going to be possible. And see what happened from that video. Sacrifices of Chinese workers. Let me leave the Tanzanians and the Zambian workers first. Not that they don't matter, but the Chinese workers uprooted from their homeland, going into an unknown situation and the dangers that faced them. They came. How do you describe that? What do you define that sort of commitment? And then working with the Tanzanians, with Zambians, who they have never known. Probably at that time, the Chinese and we, the black people, didn't even understand each other. Maybe we were trying to second guess each other. How will we relate? They related and built this asset, which is of great significance to our economic challenges, needs then, to our trade, investment, which has now become a symbol, visible symbol. Some people don't see intangibles. They don't see what your eyes can, figure out. There is a symbol of this great partnership, enduring partnership. I think we need to put our hands together to appreciate this. It is our duty, really, those of us who are alive today, fortunate to take leadership, to be conferred with this responsibility to lead our people. In China, President Xi Jinping, working with this premier, the leadership of the people of China, the people of China themselves, Tanzania, Zambia. Any one of us, who would walk away from this path that was carved for us? Nobody. It's our duty to clean, to deepen this partnership. And TAZARA was important then. As it was important then, it is important today. If not more important today than ever before. And for us, China and Zambia, 2023 is extremely important to our partnership. Entering into a comprehensive, strategic, and cooperative partnership, leading us into 2024, where President Samia Suluhu Hassan, my sister, and I congratulate her and Vice President for your recent elections and wish you the very best in Tanzania, United Republic of Tanzania. And President Xi Jinping and this fellow talking here to confirm that the TAZARA revitalization will happen. In subsequent negotiations, many of them, I used to ask Minister Tayari that, Minister, do you really want to be a friend of the president? If you want to be the friend of this president, you better get this job done. And thank you to all the negotiators for the work they did. Great work in the three countries, China, Tanzania, Zambia. Thank you for your tireless work. At some point, there were a few outstanding issues, and I was getting concerned that these issues may not be harmonized. But finally, they were. Signatures were appended, and today we are launching the TAZARA revitalization. Thank you. Thank you to all. I will not repeat what has been said already. TAZARA is not just a rail line, it's an economic corridor to deliver imports, to deliver exports, imports, exports between Tanzania and Zambia, imports, exports between Tanzania and Zambia on one side and China on the other. As our trade volumes increase, Premier, this morning you were talking about our trade volumes. As our trade volumes increase, and I know that's the case with Tanzania and China, this idea should be cherished even more. The investments that are increasing from China into Zambia, into Tanzania, joint ventures, capital, technology, raw production, processing in our countries, for the domestic markets, Tanzania, Zambia, for exports into SADC, Africa, as Vice President you said, under the Africa Free Trade Area. It only would make sense if we are producing, processing, and trading with each other, but more important to China as well. And we want to thank President Xi Jinping, Premier Li, for China's decision to open its vast market, huge market, for Tanzanian, for Zambian goods. When global trade is fragile, we must clap for China and thank China. I think this is the way to go. And I asked my Member of Parliament for Kapiri to attend all these sessions because Kapiri-Mposhi will be a critical town, what it will host, not just the terminal, but the dry port as well, and the trade investments that are coming around Kapiri for redistribution into the country and the region. So you better work harder, Member of Parliament. You better work harder. And so, as I move to close, I just want to say this is a great day indeed for all of us. And I dare say that other countries in our global community can pick a few aspects of how an enduring partnership looks like, because this is one, with several leaders that have passed through. Leaders in China, leaders in Tanzania, leaders in Zambia, all maintaining this thrust, this desire to make things work even when they were difficult in the face of adversity. So thank you to our three peoples. Thank you to the communities through which this line passes. I must also say to the communities, this is your asset. Look after it. All the way from Kapiri up to Dar. There are many communities along the way. Look after this asset. Don't take even a piece as small as my finger, because it will affect negatively the integrity of this line and the value associated with it. Use this economic corridor to produce more food, to process more food, to sell more food to one another based on need. Opportunities to mine, to trade in the mining space. Equipment coming in, mining resources going out with value addition. Also the connectivity. I say the communities along the line, but I broaden the communities to include the Lobito Corridor communities, to include the Zambia Railways network, the networks rail line in Tanzania, because ultimately they get connected to this TAZARA corridor. Fantastic, isn't it? So I must also use this opportunity to thank China Railway Construction Corporation. My colleague who spoke earlier, we had a meeting, and primarily I want to say that Zambia has offered more business opportunities to this company that has agreed to take this business opportunity, so it can do more to improve the viability in and around the TAZARA corridor. So we call it TAZARA Economic Corridor. So, Chairman of the construction company, you know what we discuss. We'll walk the talk along those issues. I know it will apply to Tanzania as well. Let me also encourage other investors in Zambia and Tanzania, take advantage of this asset. Do more things, create jobs. Premier Lee in the morning said, these cooperation agreements, these things we do are only of value if they add opportunities to our people. China, Tanzania, Zambia. For us, jobs for our young people, business opportunities for them. Of course, treasury income that would allow us to support our communities. Looking ahead, we thank China for its unwavering support to our partnership, tripartite partnership. We look forward to stronger cooperation for, as President Xi Jinping would say, shared future, shared prosperity. I have marked these words every time he's speaking. Shared future, shared prosperity. Truly, this is a symbol of shared future, shared prosperity. With these words, plus the words of my brother Vice President, Premier Lee, Chairman of the construction company, I pull all of these words together, and as I do so, I now declare the groundbreaking for the revitalization of TAZARA officially launched this afternoon in Lusaka, in Zambia. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you to China, thank you to Tanzania, to Zambia, and our three peoples. Sheshe.
Can I invite protocol, please, to assist us with placing the plaque? Mr. President, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause to Mr. President for those remarks. Mr. President, thank you very much for those remarks and for putting a premium on the project and the hard deadlines that you gave to the Minister of Transport and ensuring that we're here today. And also, we want to congratulate you for this milestone that enhances the land-linked narrative and posture that you want us to embrace. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we will have the unveiling of the plaque. I now respectfully invite Mr. President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, to be joined by His Excellency, Mr. Li Xiang, and also His Excellency, Ambassador Dr. Emmanuel John Nchimbi, to officially unveil so that we can see the plaque just like it was done in 1970. We are witnessing history in 2025. We'll request that they stand behind so that we can take the pictures. If it's possible, Mr. President, so we can have the Premier on the right-hand side. If we can have the Premier on the right-hand side. Is that okay? Yes, please. If we can have the Premier on the right-hand side and the Vice President on the left-hand side. Thank you. At the count of three, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. President, we're going to request you to lift the veil so that we can see. 1, 2, 3. Round of applause.